Welcome to another episode of the DIY Detail Podcast. We have so many questions from you about how to use our products, but the number one question is, who is that guy with the gorgeous mustache?
Well, thank you, Nick. My name's Ivan, and this is the DIY podcast, and you are Nick. But
I'm Nick.
and we did have that question asked, Lee. Who is this old guy, or is an OG? What's an OG?
Ooh, an OG. That's an original gangsta.
Okay, so
Yeah. Did you not
you
know
can tell
that?
you can tell how old I am because I had no idea what an OG was, and I
That's so
did
fun.
Google it.
That's why the comment went unresponded to on the YouTube channel. Who is this OG?
Yeah, exactly. So apparently I'm an OG, but yeah, I've been around the detailing world, let's say a couple years. Uh, that being
Just a
said,
couple.
yeah, so we're getting great interaction on our YouTube channel, and I want to thank everyone that's left us a question, that's watched the videos. It's been spectacular, and if you haven't seen the videos, well, you might be on our YouTube channel now. You can subscribe, maybe give us a thumbs up, and leave us a question below. So always great
Now,
things.
yeah, and I think that sometimes you measure things by views. We're humans. That's the way that we want to decide in our heads, is this valuable or not? But a video that both got views, but I thought got really good interaction was about using a clay towel with the rinseless wash to decontaminate paint. And one of the questions was, and I want to get to two of them. One is, can you clay a ceramic coated car? And two, why would I want to use a clay towel over a clay bar? And Ivan, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so can you clay a ceramic coated car? Definitely you can clay, and you should clay your ceramic coated car. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of misconceptions on the market as to now I have my car ceramic coated. I can't take it through a car wash anymore. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do that. Those are detailers putting those limitations on the products. The product itself has no limitations. Yes, it's increasing your scratch resistance. It's giving you a little gloss. It's doing all these great things for you, but you don't need necessarily to treat it differently. Now, you've invested all this money in a ceramic coating. Yeah, maybe you want to take care of it just a little bit better. And to answer the second part of that question, should I use a clay towel or a clay bar? Clay bar is a relatively old technology. It's been around for 30 some years now. And a clay bar is basically abrasive in a clay-like material. We call it clay, but it's not really clay. Think of it more as Play-Doh, but abrasive Play-Doh. That
That
might
you
be
do not want your kids to be touching because it says,
no.
like, warning, cancer risk on the clay bar wrapper.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something you want to chew on. That being said, and you can't make a cup out of it either. The
You put
clay,
iron remover in the middle and you make a little cup.
there you go. So the clay bar itself, great technology, but what it had as a downfall or short was that it actually scratched and marred the paint. Yes, it removed the oxidation, but when you look at your paint afterwards, not oxidation, sorry, it removes the contamination. But when you look at your paint afterwards, now you've got this sort of a hazy, whitish look to it if you've got a black car. If you have a silver car, if you have a white car, you'll never see the difference. But on a black or a dark colored car, you can see those little marks. And that's what detailers, when they say you can't clay a ceramic coated vehicle because you're going to mar it all up. Well, if you're using a clay bar, yes, you are. Now, there's an evolution to the clay bar, and that was the clay towel and the clay mitt. And those came about maybe 15 years ago. And great evolution. And those are available, like the clay bars, in different grades. So you have a fine, a medium, and a coarse. The coarse, you're definitely going to be scratching the paint. The medium, yeah, if you're careful, you might get away with it. And the fine, sure, you're not removing 100% of the contamination on the vehicle, but you're not scratching it either. So as a maintenance item, the fine is the better way to go. Now, those first clay towels and clay mitts that were available on the market were great. It was a big improvement over clay bars simply because you didn't have to knead it and fold it and keep flipping it over and all that. So you could get the work done faster and they last longer. A clay bar, you drop it on the ground, you pick it up off the ground, you put it in the garbage can. You're done. Whereas a clay towel, you can wash it off, make sure that you have no abrasive in it, and keep working with it. What we have, so the DIY clay towel, DIY detailed clay towel, is a perforated clay. And the perforated clay brings another level of safety to it. And that extra level of safety is the perforations not only allow somewhere for the larger chunks to go, but also you have less contact with the surface. And if you've ever used a traditional clay towel, you know that it can all of a sudden stick to the surface. You're gliding along and then it just sticks there because now you've basically exhausted the lubrication that's underneath it. Whereas with the perforations, now we have all that lubrication that's in there. And if you accidentally press too hard on your clay towel, it's actually going to force more lubrication into or between the surface and the car, or between the surface and the towel. So you get a much better relationship between the towel and the paint. Now,
So you've got the towel folded into fours. So you're giving
right.
yourself a cushion under your hand, between
Yeah.
your hand and the paint. And then if you press too hard, the other side is the quality microfiber towel, which has moisture in it because before you dipped it in the rinseless wash. So not
Yeah.
only do you have a cushion, then by accidentally pressing too hard, you're actually introducing moisture, which is your rinseless, which will be lubrication. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to be redundant with here and understand. Okay, those are my two layers of safety built in. Am I
Yeah.
am I getting it so far?
Very well. And the other thing is a clay towel, we don't want to use any pressure on it. Now, if you put a lot of pressure on it, if you don't have proper lubrication, then yes, you are going to, and excuse me, this is allergy season. Uh, you are possibly going to mar your paint. So you want to be gentle with the clay towel. Let it do the job. You're not working. All you're doing is taking it around the paint and listen while you're claying. So Nick's got AirPods in. Don't use your AirPods while you're claying. And the reason you don't use the AirPods when you're claying is simply because you can actually feel and hear the contamination. And when you don't feel and hear it anymore, stop. You don't need to do any more on that panel.
I was gonna say you, if you're a real OG, can feel it, right?
Yeah.
And that's
And
where it's like you could close your eyes like your little window cleaning trick where you said you don't even want to look. You just want to feel where the window still feels dirty. You can feel on a clay towel or clay bar where you're getting contamination, but it
yeah,
just takes a comfort level with your product and experience.
exactly. Now, and we also mentioned rinseless washing with the clay towel regularly. Incredible Suds will do just as good of a job. Incredible Suds has a lot of lubrication to it. It's going to do the job that you need with the clay towel. So you can foam it on, and you want to have the surface clean before. So if you're doing a rinseless, you're going to rinseless wash the vehicle, not just spray the rinseless on and start claying. So you're actually going to use the sponge and do that contact wash. Same thing if you're using Incredible Suds. You want to do your contact wash, but then if you want to play around with your foam cannon even more, you can foam the car again and then use that foam as your clay lube.
And Phil Miranda with Miranda's detailing. I mean, we've been getting really good feedback on Incredible Suds. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm like I love all the products. They're all my babies. So it's like, how do you pick one over the other, right?
you don't.
So I don't want to say, oh, I'm surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised at how much people love Incredible Suds. Like people who use it, they're like, I've never seen anything like this, and it's true because
Yeah,
the surfactants in there are unlike what we have been told by experts in the industry have ever been put into a soap before. So we
yeah,
know that it's awesome. But Phil was showing us, he's like, his wife had washed the lower part of the rocker panel. So like
yeah,
she'd washed it. So it was empty. And he's like, most of the time foam would just cling down, basically from the door handle down. It was like the middle section of the door. So most of the time it would just cling down and drip to the bottom, but the Incredible Suds is just clinging there. And
yeah,
so he's like, I've never seen anything like this. But what a killer clay lube if it's
yeah.
still
It is
hanging out there, breaking down the dirt for you and remaining there when you're ready to hit it with your clay towel.
right. And another item you can use, or another product you can use as a clay lube, is the iron remover.
Yeah.
And the iron remover, not all iron removers are compatible with clay towels. So be very careful there. Don't just go to your shelf and pick up any iron remover and go, hey, this is going to work. It may not work. And by may not work, basically, it's going to destroy the clay towel. So you want to avoid that. But do a little test. If it doesn't soften your clay towel, then you should be good to go. And a lot of the iron removers that can act as a lubrication actually have surfactants in them and will suds up a little bit as you're foaming. And Nick, I'm going to give you a challenge. You're going to insert a video somewhere in here.
Oh, I
So
got you, Ivan. I
yeah,
got you.
yeah,
The OG speaks and Nick delivers.
exactly. Well, I don't know how to insert the little videos here and there. So apparently you know how to do that.
It's really, if that's the thing that you don't know, then you're all right. That's a pretty easy one. That's a pretty easy one.
Well,
You know, oh, go ahead.
no, well, I don't have a computer, and it's not a function you can do on a phone.
As a true minimalist, you don't have a computer. There are drawbacks to that lifestyle, but that's probably something you can live with.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so I was doing a maintenance wash, rinseless on my car yesterday, and I
Yeah,
just was like, I'm just gonna throw. I don't need to clay this car, you know what I mean? It's been clayed, but I was like, I'll just put the clay towel in the rinseless bucket. And I did my contact wash. I pre-sprayed with rinseless, then I did the rinseless wipe down with my sponge.
yeah,
And I was about to do my ceramic gloss and dry it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my very wet clay towel that was dipped in the bucket. I'm just gonna do a light caress of the paint, just before I do my ceramic gloss. And it felt like a super safe maintenance way to use my clay towel. It's just sitting in the bucket. I'm keeping it wet, nice and
yeah.
lubricated with the rinseless. And it was just, let's say anything dropped out of my paint in the last couple weeks since I've washed the car. Let me just make sure we're good. I'm not driving it in there. I'm not going for once a year, we're gonna buff and polish this afterwards. But the
No,
clay
exactly.
towel can be used as often or as little as you want, and it's so safe, especially when you're really gentle, that it's almost like, hey, I'm just checking in. You doing okay, buddy? Checking with the paint. If I hear a little scratch, I'm like, oh, what happened here? Just
Yeah,
kind of having that conversation. It was just a way to kind of connect with the paint because I could feel it in a way that maybe when the wash mate you're doing your car wash, you may not see it. I've got dark blue paint. So that was my aside.
exactly. And you looked at your paint afterwards because you're a detailer. Did you see any mar?
Yep. No, I didn't. And I
Oh,
honestly, I'm also a detailer who thought I was claying safely um, when I was in my shop full time, and I would do washes on my own car when the day was done. I'd
yeah,
take my light clay and my iron remover, very good lubrication with rinseless, whatever. I marred the crap out of the paint, and I had a fine grade clay bar. So people have been asking me on YouTube in the comment section, like, clay bar versus clay towel, and I'm like, honestly, man, the clay bar I found it very difficult to leave the paint the way that I found it. You're just marring it up.
yeah,
It's very aggressive. Like you can get to the contamination, but you have to follow it up with a polish if you want that to go away. And so
exactly.
it's a dance. It's a
Yeah,
dance. So the clay towel is just so versatile.
yeah. The perforated clay towel. It's an evolution of the clay towel. It's an evolution of the clay bar, and it just works. So
All right, so you can clay a ceramic coated car, clay towel versus clay bar. Um, I got two things that I really want to talk about, and let's just start selfishly with the interior ceramic coating product that we have. It's been getting rave reviews, and
yeah,
what people are telling me, and what I already know to be true, is it is insanely easy to apply. One guy's like, I'm a detailer, so I try to snuff out whether this stuff is legit or not. It has the ceramic smell to it,
yeah,
so it smells like it's a ceramic coating, a true ceramic coating, and yet it's so dummy simple. He like sprays it on, he walks away, he comes back, wipes it down, no high spots, but the results are incredible, he says. So
yeah.
I don't know if you've had any feedback from people that you're talking to about the interior ceramic.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody that's tried it has loved it. It's like you say, it's the easiest interior ceramic I've ever seen, and we worked hard to get it that way. So, one of my goals in life is simplicity. One of my goals in life is to make things easy. I have two, my two major qualities are I'm cheap and I'm lazy. So, the less work I can do, or the less work people around me can do, the better it is. So, when we develop that interior ceramic coating, that was one of the drawbacks with traditional interior ceramics. They work, they're fine, but the installation process can be a little daunting, to say the least. And you have the possibility of high spots. You've got all sorts of weird little things going on. Whereas with the DIY product, it's simple, and you can use the same one on leather, on fabric, on carpet, on plastics, basically any interior surface other than the glass, of course.
Yeah, it felt like a professional only product having an interior ceramic installed. And part of that is the prep process, right? What do I do to prep? How
Yeah,
do I avoid a high spot where on my, leather section, this looks really dark and then this looks light. And after it's dried and cured, I actually can't blend the two, right? Like that's
yeah,
not going to happen with our product because the chemistry is so advanced now. And we're trying to really create this product line that is so good but works for DIYers. And if we're going to create something that anybody can do, that my cousin who just got a car who is a real human being in the real world and wants to keep her car nice, she could do this. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
she could take our all-purpose cleaner, all clean, wipe down the armrest, and spray this on and wipe it in, and that's good and that's
Yeah.
easy and that's all that she's gonna do because she's a busy mom, you know. And so I'm so impressed with that. I had a interior detailer message me and he's like, "This feels like a game changer, Nick." And I'm like, "Just keep testing it, man. I want
Yeah.
you to tell me you're honest. Like, keep getting those maintenance clients back, and I want you to tell me how it performs for you, because I think that I know how it's going to perform for them. But
Yeah.
I love to hear the real world feedback because I'm at my heart like a true detailer. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the feedback so far.
Right. And one other thing, if your car is new, just lightly go over it with the rinseless wash. You don't need to go to the APC. So rinseless wash, clean it with that. It's good to go. You can apply the ceramic coating.
But she has a new car, like it's 2 months old, three
Yeah.
large dogs, two children, and a
Yeah.
husband. So like, you know, three children.
Yeah.
So it gets dirty real fast, man. These mommy cars, especially in like the Park City, Utah area, you know, they're
Yeah.
outdoors all the time, ski season. But no, I know what you're saying. The rinseless washes are great, just maintenance wipe down for
Yeah.
cars, and it's safe too.
Yeah. Now, another product we've been getting a lot of rave reviews and questions about is Quick Beads. And Quick Beads is one of my favorite products, but people are discovering that they're not following the instructions and getting great results from it. So, we like to talk about a few little off label uses for it. And one of them is I got an email the other day, uh, person saying, "Look, I just sprayed it on and wiped it off. I forgot that it was Quick Beads. I thought I was using ceramic gloss. Is that okay? Is it going to ruin my car? Is it going to ruin my paint? But it seems to be beading like crazy." So yes, Quick Beads is water activated, but even if you don't use water, so you can spray it on, wipe it off like ceramic gloss. It's not going to give you as much protection as ceramic gloss, but it is going to work, and it's going to work great. The other message I got from someone that was sort of off label using Quick Beads, they did the same sort of thing. They sprayed it on the windshield and wiped it off. They said they'd never seen a glass coating perform so well, and
Yeah.
it's not going to perform for months. It's meant as something you can apply frequently. So no, you're not going to get a 1 year durability out of it. But if you're coming up on a rainstorm, you haven't done anything to your windshield in a while, you have Quick Beads in the trunk, by all means, give it a quick wash and wipe with Quick Beads. And when the rain starts, you don't need to use your wipers. So
Honestly, ceramic gloss has done that too. You know, you think about there's a great debate out there, right? Should the
yeah,
new car customer, if you're a professional detailer, spend a grand, 1,500, 2 grand, whatever, to get their car professionally ceramic coated by you? Or, as some detailers between ourselves would say, should they just get a detail once a quarter and get an SiO2 or a wax put on there? And I would say the quarterly maintenance versus the one pill, set it and forget it kind of mentality is a better life strategy for your body, your relationships, your car, anything where you're tuning in a more frequent way and sort of maintaining versus trying to rescue with one big thing,
yeah,
I think is good. So what I mean is just doing the quick beads or the ceramic gloss, like if you go through the car wash and you just wipe down some of the drips with ceramic gloss and you have it on your towel left over ceramic gloss and you just wipe your windshield,
yeah,
it's like a glass coating, Rain-X, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
Like the beading is insane just from ceramic gloss. So I don't know. I think you can get a lot of results by just touching your car using our products or whatever product line people want to use. Just frequent maintenance will
yes,
deliver pretty astounding results, you know, because the technology is so good now. Obviously, we're trying to set a line up for people that do just that.
yeah. Now, the thing about ceramic coating, though, the debate of once and forget it, or the monthly maintenance, or quarterly maintenance, I'm more of the feeling that you should actually do both. But the
Yeah, no, agreed.
yeah, so the true ceramic coating that you're putting on, so like our ceramic coating, you put it on there, it's not set it and forget it, but it's going to make maintaining a lot easier. Now, if you're maintaining your car, washing it with incredible suds or rinseless, and then following up with quick beads or ceramic gloss, That's going to be the best of both worlds. You're going to get less contamination on the vehicle. You're protected against chemicals. And that's what the big reason is for ceramic coatings. A lot of detailers will tell you it's for additional gloss and slickness and all that. That's all fun and games. And yeah, those are nice reasons to have a coating. But as far as I'm concerned, the real reason to have a coating is chemical protection. So if you have a bird that decides to use your car as a bathroom, you don't have to run and wipe it off. You can let it sit there for an hour or two or even a day. If you're driving in Florida, love bug season. Anybody who's lived in the Southeast knows what love bugs are and knows the damage they can do to a vehicle. I'm not talking little things. I'm talking eat through the paint all the way to the
Yeah.
metal if you leave them on there too long. We have sort of a similar situation here near Montreal on the Champlain Bridge. Once in a while, it gets invaded by these little flying insects. I don't know what the name is. In French, it's les mannes. So Mannes. I don't know what it is in English. Someone's going to be Googling it, and you can put it in the comments below. But that being said, they just invade. And as you're driving there, sometimes you see people having to stop on the bridge to clean their windshield because they can't see. They're that,
Whoa.
yeah. So that being said, if you're, have a lot of insect remains on the front of your vehicle, if you live in an area with, a lot of birds and trees, tree sap, everything like that, those are things that can damage your paint and damage it permanently. They're not just sitting on the top, they're actually etching their way into your paint and deeper and deeper and deeper. So those are things that you want to take care of. And the ceramic coating will give you that layer of protection underneath your ceramic gloss and underneath your quick beads and whatever else you could be using. So it's just helping with all of that.
Yeah, we have a video that we're going to drop in a couple days about whether you need to polish before applying a ceramic coating, and let the people talk amongst themselves, and they can decide, and we'll have the video up. But
Yeah.
what's really interesting, I was thinking, if I got a brand new car today, let's say it was even my dream car, I don't think that I would want someone to three-step it, a sand, a buff, and a polish to give it that perfect paint look, and then ceramic coat it. Because honestly, I am a realist and I know what happens in the real world, and it's not a garage queen. It's going to get driven. It's going to get scratched up again, even if I never take it through the car wash. It's just, I got kids, people are touching it. So what I would do if I got a brand new car, I would do a one-step polish, which we do have a
The
DIY
gold
polish
standard.
and
Yeah.
pad system. Yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out soon. I would do that, and then I would well, I would wash. I would decontaminate, right, with iron decontamination, the clay towel. I would do a one-step polish, panel prep, ceramic coat the outside. I would literally inspect the inside. I may do a quick panel prep wipe down, which we could talk about if that's safe or
Yep.
not on an interior. But I kind of like that feeling of the clear coated plastics. I mean, let me just do what I would do on the outside too, the panel prep, and then I just look at the leather and the vinyl and make sure it looked okay. Maybe a quick panel prep wipe down or a rinse, and I would apply the interior ceramic, and that's what I would do for my new car. What would you do if you had a brand new car, Evan?
Pretty much it. The
Yep.
least amount of polishing you can do, the better it is. And if you're going to a professional detailer to have a coating installed, that's something you want to take care of. Have them measure the paint. And if your detailer doesn't have a way of measuring your paint thickness, you may want to consider another detailer.
Yeah, be that annoying customer like, do you have a paint gauge? And
Paint
are you
thickness
going to
gauge.
do mechanical or chemical decontamination? And how many mils thick is your coating? And is there
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding.
But
Those are the
anyway,
best customers.
yeah,
Anyway.
actually, they end up being great customers. But you want to make sure that your detailer is measuring the thickness of the paint. And I'll speak in microns because it's just easier to visualize than mils. The average paint a couple of years ago was 100 mils thick. Today, it's 75 mils thick, 25% less. Now, the e-coat, the primer, and the base coat are all relatively the same as they used to be. It's the clear coat that the manufacturers are finding a way of diminishing and diminishing and diminishing year after year. When you only have 75 microns of paint on your vehicle, and that's, again, the e-coat, the primer, the base coat, and the clear coat, you don't have a lot of room to be going, willy-nilly and making it perfect and all that. You just bought a brand new car. It's as perfect as it's going to be. And unless, like Nick said, it's a garage queen that you're going to be taking out on Saturday mornings to go to Cars and Coffee, maybe an ice cream on Tuesday evening with your loved one. Other than that, there's not, you know, not a lot of reason to be polishing on a new car. Now,
Well,
the polishing will clean the paint. So there's a difference between compounding, like a 3-step wet sanding, compounding, and polishing, as opposed to a very light polish that is going to deep clean the paint and just to amp up that gloss a little bit.
I was going to ask you in terms of the clear coat. The UV protection is in the clear coat, correct?
Correct. And the more you remove the clear coat, the less UV protection you've got.
Right, but like let's say this is how much clear coat you have when in fact our clear coat is more like this thin. But let's say you have this much clear coat and you remove this much. Is the UV protection more concentrated in a certain part of the clear coat or
Yeah, the hardness and the UV protection are actually near the top of the clear coat. So when it's applied, it's a liquid. As the solvent is evaporating, and now they're using water as a solvent. So water is a solvent. It's not a hydrocarbon solvent. So they're not using hydrocarbon solvents anymore. They're using water as a solvent. Regardless, as the solvent is evaporating out of the paint, it's actually carrying with it some of the UV protection, and there's particles in the paint that are designed to make it hard. And excuse me, I just have to. There, my battery
well
said
you were
it.
talking oh,
My
okay.
my battery said it was low, and it freezed everything on the screen. Uh, but anyways, what happens is now you've got, as it's evaporating, it's bringing those mostly melamine particles closer to the surface, and that's creating like a hard crust on the outside of your clear coat. If you remove that hard crust by too much polishing, now your paint is butter soft and anything is going to scratch it. A fly walks across your car, it's going to leave some marks. Whereas if you leave the factory clear coat as much intact as possible, so just a light polish, your car will thank you.
And are you encouraging the world out there, which sometimes even detailers need to be coached on this, to
Yeah,
just be okay with some defects in your paint, to know that from 10 feet away, no one else is going to see them besides you.
exactly.
Because everyone sees that scratch on their car and they're like, could you buff this out? Could this get buffed out? And that becomes a dangerous proposition. And it's detailer's ego. They want to say, well, I can do it.
Yeah,
But you don't want your detailer to go after that unless you're really confident in them. They've measured the clear coat. How much thickness do you have there? And how much does it matter to you that that's gone now? And that what is also gone permanently is the amount of clear coat they had to shave. Because your clear coat, if you think about it like a land mass, the scratch is like a big divot in the land.
yeah,
And to get rid of that scratch, we're not like removing the scratch. We're actually we're removing the clear coat so that that scratch doesn't look like this anymore. It looks like this. And the light refracts in a way that it almost looks smooth. So as you try to remove a scratch, you're actually removing the clear coat around it.
yeah.
And once it's gone, it's gone.
So a great way of visualizing this is the Grand Canyon. Hopefully, everyone listening to this has been to the Grand Canyon. It's an amazing experience. That being said, when we're polishing paint, we're not filling in the Grand Canyon. We're removing everything around the Grand Canyon to bring it to the same level as the bottom of the canyon. So, a lot of detailers, professional detailers, have this misconception that when they're polishing, they're moving, from point A, from the surface, and filling it into that cavity. So they think they're skimming a little bit off the top of either side of the Grand Canyon and it's going in the middle. That's not how it works. Now, when we had lacquer paints, yes, that effectively was what it was doing. We don't have lacquer paints anymore. We have waterborne clear coats and waterborne paints. You are not moving it from point A and putting it into the scratch. You are simply removing point A altogether and bringing it down to the level of that scratch. How deep is that scratch? Even the most sophisticated paint thickness gauges can't read that. So we don't know. Is that scratch 10 microns deep, 20 microns deep, 30 microns deep? We have no idea. And once we remove that scratch, though, now instead of having one very, very fine line that's, let's say, a 20 micron thick, deep scratch, instead of having one little fine line, now we've got a 6-inch wide swath that is that thin. What happens the next time that area gets scratched? You're done.
The world ends. The world is over.
No,
Everything falls apart.
basically you go to a body shop and you pay them, $10,000 or $15,000 to repaint your car to factory specs.
Which sort of can feel like the world has ended
Yeah.
if you're the detailer who accidentally burned all the way through the clear coat
Yes.
and is responsible for said incident, which many professionals have been through that experience, and it's no fun.
Yeah. And with that, I think we've taken up enough of people's time. So,
Let's end on a positive note, Ivan.
yeah,
Tell me the best thing that happened to you this week.
I woke up every morning.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
It's a blessing, man, to be
it is.
alive and to be here. And look at us. We're talking about cleaning cars.
Yeah,
How awesome is that?
yeah. Not saving the world, but we're making cars shinier.
And people like their cars. So we're meeting them where they're looking to be met. And hopefully we can answer your questions. Hit me up, Nick at DIYdetail.com. Leave a comment below.
Yep.
Ivan and I are always enjoying those conversations with people. And we're in this for the long haul. And we want to be there for you, answer your questions, and develop rapport. And maybe we'll see you, at some car show or SEMA or I don't know, Ivan, what's on the calendar for you down the line?
Uh,
Any big events,
Mobile Tech
training coming
Expo
up?
for sure. SEMA, not sure yet. We don't have a booth at SEMA. Our company is too new, and getting a booth at SEMA takes a little while. It's a waiting list. So no, we're probably not going to be at SEMA this year. But yeah, car shows. I'm looking forward to showing up with a bus at Cars and Coffee here and there, and just seeing what people think. So
All right, Ivan. Well, good to talk to you, sir. We'll see you next week.
see you next week. Talk to you soon.